Welcome to the Deal Room. I'm Don Favia. Today I'm joined by Lior Moscovich. He's got a unique path, military, engineering, and now building a volatility-focused hedge fund. Before we dive in, quick note, nothing here is financial advice. Always talk to a licensed professional before making any investment decisions. You have one of the most unique backgrounds of anyone that I've ever met. You come from the Israeli military, engineering, and then you're running now a volatility-focused hedge fund here in the US. How did you get into this field, and what pulled you in this direction?
Well, pleasure being on your podcast. It's um it's been a very long journey. I always wanted to live in America. I felt connected the first moment I stepped foot. Um, and Economics, trading, and all that always was something that I was really triggered by. And I just want to live here. I moved myself from Israel, and running my hedge fund is something that I wasn't sure if I'll do, but I knew I want to be in the markets, and especially in the U.S. markets. And I've been trading since 2012, give or take. And recently, I started all the legal process to launch the hedge fund, and rewarding journey. The fund is not set up and running yet. Soon. Um, it's a big deal.
It is. Yeah,
It's a
I
dream
mean,
come
it's
true.
not it's not a
It's a
you
dream
hear
come true.
about people who run hedge funds, but and they're obviously taking big bets in what they do, and they feel strongly, and they're very, very capable people. But you're the first that I've ever met in person, and I'm glad you're able to join me today. Um, yeah. So, finance guys, they're always talking about being in high pressure situations and handling pressure. And you obviously know pressure since you came from the military and in a combat unit,
Yeah.
which is unbelievable.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
what part of that are you able to use with what you're doing today, day to day?
Yeah. Good question. So, I've always had it in me, but the army, and I was in the Air Force, not as a pilot. um, just put everything in a nice package and taught me um, not to get into panic. If whatever event, the army always prepare you for the
Oh
worst
yeah.
case,
Yeah.
right? Plan for the worst, expect the best. So I'm not panicking. If something goes wrong and not exactly as planned, I just take a step back or two steps, evaluate, see the whole case scenario, what, why did it happen, and reevaluate. Now, in my strategy that I built and developed for many years, um, I always have a backup plan, at least once, maybe even two
Sure.
backup plans. I'm very
Sure.
cautious. I'm dealing with people's money, their savings, maybe their kids' college money. So I don't want to lose my money. I don't want to lose their money. So when major events that might happen, especially with the VIX, trading volatility, it can happen at moment notice, overnight or in few minutes. So March 2020, I didn't freak out COVID.
Oh yeah.
We had a few events also last year, in August and December. We had another event past April, and I just took a step back. I tried to evaluate why it happened, and took my positions, let it go, and I've been doing pretty
That's
good.
excellent. That's excellent. Yeah, and I guess thinking I don't come from any kind of psychiatry or medical field, but I imagine mentally dealing with some of the stresses that you would have dealt with when you were in the military, it affects your brain in the same manner with just business. The stresses of business. You're kind of reacting in the same way. So if
And
you
life.
in life, yeah, if you're able to handle that successfully and remain calm, that proves out how you're able to deal with just life in general.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
absolutely. Look, I'm more nervous sometimes driving the streets, driving my car out there with a bunch of other smart people than dealing with the stock
sure.
markets. I feel very, very comfortable.
Excellent, excellent. Well, so you mentioned volatility. Now that's an interesting one. You hear that coming and going in terms of, on TV if something crazy happens or if people are getting nervous in investments, but that seems to be what the avenue that you invest in the most and what you're most interested in. And was there a moment that it just kind of clicked for you, where you said, "Hey, this is I see myself doing very well, in this specific field."
Um, yes, pretty not in the beginning, not the way when I first started
Mhm.
trading, but pretty much when I in the beginning when I start investigating about volatility and trading the VIX. I understood the concept and I love the idea that I can implement option strategies that I developed and learned over the years. Um, and I understood how it behaves. Once I got this, the VIX started back in 1990. So I went all the way back to 1990, learned, understood the concept, built some strategies. I saw it's working, and little by little, I shift all my positions, all my portfolio to trade volatility. That was back in
Mm.
2019. So it's yeah, I just feel very comfortable. It's not exactly uncorrelated to the markets, but it will give you like a benchmark. What will be the level of movement in the market? So trading volatility, you don't care that much if markets will go up, down, or sideways. Um, and I trade only the volatility. I don't trade any other asset class.
Interesting.
Only
Wow.
this one.
Wow. So I guess for those of us that are not deep in the weeds, what's your version of what volatility is, and I guess why it matters more than most people would realize?
Yeah. So I touched. I explained a little bit. It's a benchmark. It just measures the uncertainty in the markets. And obviously, you don't want to be uncertain, not in life, definitely not when you deal with
Right.
money and other people's
Right.
money. So this is what it's all about. Volatility It just measures the uncertainty in the markets. And it has levels. It's an index, so it has levels. You need to know what to do when it's low. You need to do how to behave when it's very high, like happening during COVID. VIX was very high. Um, and that's
Oh,
it.
absolutely. Obviously, I don't know off the top of my head what percentage of investors invest in volatility. I know I don't think for my 401k retirement, I don't think there's any of that in
No,
there. But I mean, what
no.
what common mistake would you see that investors who do invest in that make when it comes to how they think about it? Um, are people,
Mhm.
I guess, probably, I don't know. Let me throw it to you, I guess.
So investors, mainly the big ones like hedge funds and
Yeah.
the big names, they watch volatility because they want to see what's the level of certainty or uncertainty in the market. So they do watch it. Um, I chose volatility mainly. or let me rephrase that. I chose it also because I couldn't find a fund or investor that trade volatility exclusively. And that's what I do. I don't have anything else in my portfolio. So, to your question, I think the most common mistake, or maybe we'll not call it a mistake, like not trading the VIX the way it should. People buy volatility VIX because it behaves like an insurance policy, technically.
That's first time I've heard that. Interesting.
Everybody loves
Yeah.
insurance.
Yeah.
It is like an
Sure.
insurance. So they buy it when it's low or when they think it's too
Mhm.
low, and they just wait for it to spike.
Mm.
Because once the VIX spike, it can go up. For example, in
Yeah.
COVID, within few
Yeah.
days, VIX went up more than 100%.
Wow. So massive swings.
So imagine you put, yeah, it didn't happen
Yeah.
overnight. It was a few
Sure.
days, a couple of weeks. But imagine you put $1,000. End of the game, you have
Yeah.
$3,000,
Yeah.
right? Now times it. But sometimes volatility doesn't go up.
Sure.
It happened many, many, many times. It happened during 21 for a few months. Volatility didn't do anything. 23, 24, I think also nothing
Mhm.
happened. Of course, there are spikes, but nothing dramatic happened. So basically, you kind of losing money because nothing is happening. And that's, I think, is the most common mistake that people do when they trade volatility.
They
They
put it
wait
they
for it to
use it
spike.
as a hedge long term and expect a reasonable amount of spikes, and then if nothing happens, then they're not maximizing the return in that invest. That makes sense. That makes sense. So
Exactly.
with you, I mean,
Exactly.
you've developed a system, it sounds like more actively can predict that type of thing. So I guess getting to my next question, walk us through a moment where volatility spiked and you felt that your system handled it the way it was designed to, and what did you see in that moment?
So honestly, most of the times I'm right.
Isn't that
I
great?
have about, yeah. Yeah, awesome. Um, my success rate is about 82%.
82%. Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
82%. It doesn't mean that I lost the other 18%. It didn't work exactly how I
Right.
expected.
Wow.
So I fixed it and it worked. Um, so yeah, it's I know that my system works for the long run and for the short term. I'm very, very cautious. Again, all my money, all my savings, everything invested in that strategy.
Wow. So
So
you're
I don't
passionate
want to
about it.
lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot afford losing. So I'm very, very
It's win or go
cautious
home.
with what I
Yeah.
do, especially that I deal with volatility and
Sure.
options. It's you gotta be very
Oh,
cautious.
absolutely. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And you want, if you're going to be investing your money with an individual, you want somebody that is going to respect that as well, and that is cautious. They're smart enough, and they've developed systems that can take advantage of certain edges that other people don't see, but they also know that it's 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 nothing's 100%, obviously, and it's just you're just kind of mitigating your risk whenever you put in money, whether it be real estate or the VIX or anything. So yeah, what else can you ask for? So here's an interesting question.
I'll just
Yeah,
jump in and add that. So I've been through so many
yeah.
cycles. And I saw markets can give, but they really like to
Oh
take.
yeah, there's always a give and take.
So if you're not if you're not very cautious, when you start being greedy, that's when you get the
Sure.
hit. And I'm not
There
greedy.
you go. That's great. That was good. So here's an interesting thing. Obviously, there's other hedge funds, and you could have. It sounds like you could have easily walked into any of those groups, started your own team under them with systems in place. So why did you decide to go the route of building your own firm? And what's missing from the others that the other funds that were doing it?
Yeah, good question.
And feel
Good
feel free to
question.
answer that however you like.
Um, so I tried. Again, I never worked in any institution. I built everything from ground up, everything on
The
my own. Worked, saved, invested, and so on. I tried getting into other funds and investment companies, but they wanted to see that I manage money for clients, and the number was 100 million.
got it.
I didn't understand the number till recently when I started all the legal process, and it does make
Yeah,
sense. 100 million under management. It put you just in a different
right.
level. Um, so I said, okay, all the doors, windows are closed for me. So, and also, it's hard for me to say, they will not let you trade what you do the way you do. They want you to trade with their
Mm,
system, the way they do it. You're going to be under their magnifying glass. And I cannot sell a product that I don't truly believe in.
sure.
I have to be 100% sure that it works, that I like it, that I understand it, and then I can sell it. And I can say it only about me, my funds, and the VIX that that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great answer, I would say. Yeah, that
Thanks.
so you're building
Thanks.
VIX Capital. It's a
Hmm.
lean, mean machine, and you're building it that way to avoid the noise, from what I've gathered out of the material you sent me.
Hmm.
So what's the biggest benefit you see of staying lean and mean and on the smaller end compared to some of the big hedge funds out there, when you're dealing with a world that just they're looking at the biggest, the best always, right?
Well, maybe I'm not going to be the biggest, but I'm going to
There
be
we
the
go.
best.
Okay.
You have some good questions. um, no, I love it. So I believe in um, personal relationships, one on one, and that's how I want to build my
Mm,
funds. I want to know all my
interesting.
clients.
Yeah. Versus just a ledger, right?
I'm taking I'm taking full control and full responsibility. So I want to know my clients. When you have a big firm, um, or a big hedge fund, you cannot know everybody in your team, and definitely not your investors. I want to know every each and one of them on a personal level, because I believe people do business with people on a personal note. Once I gain the trust, um, they'll invest. Maybe I will gain some friends over there. And the goal is still reach to 100 million under management, which is that's the long term goal, but it's doable. And with 100 million AUM, I will have enough money for myself. I will have a good, I'll make a good living for myself and my family.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And
yeah,
you'll have a lot of very good friends.
hope so. Working
Yeah,
on it.
that's great.
Working on
That's great.
it.
So tell us, I guess, what does a day look like you for you and your team right now?
So the team is just me. At the moment, I will bring my wife to help me with a lot of the back office, the diligence, marketing, and all that. And I'll bring also a very good friend of mine who has the same fund, hedge fund in Israel. Um, and we we talk almost every day. We brainstorm together.
Some people call
Um,
that like a two-person mastermind group where you guys yeah, that
yes.
sounds good. Yeah.
Yes. So we just feel comfortable. So we think the same. We think alike everything. We and I want him to be on my team, because I'm thinking a few steps ahead, of
Mhm.
course, because it's only me in the fund. What will happen if something will happen to me? And I'm his backup plan. His investors know me, and I want him to be my backup plan if something happens to me. I trust him. I have fully confident. He's brilliant. He will know what to do. He has perfect English. He will know exactly what to do. So, to your question, what is a perfect day or
I
ideal day
imagine
for
you
me?
stay on the news. Is the news a big aspect to what you're looking at? You know, the things that are happening around the world?
Yeah. So, of course, I watch a bunch of
Sure.
charts. I read a lot. I have I don't think if you can see, I have CNBC and Bloomberg
Yeah,
24/7.
yeah. Well,
Um, so I look at a lot of information, but I also have ideal days, doing good trades, not losing money, of course. Have great meetings, conversations, speak with new friends, old friends, building relationships. I don't know, going to the
there you go. You
gym,
gotta
going on
yeah.
a walk, have a nice dinner,
That's great. Yeah,
watch a
going to the
good
gym is
movie.
important. You gotta keep your body
Yeah.
the body's the temple, and you gotta keep it, sharp for everything else to be sharp.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to stay healthy, eating
Yeah,
healthy, go to
yeah.
the gym a few times a week.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful.
all that.
Well, we're living in a complex world. It's run by humans still, even though AI, I think, is about to take over soon. How are you balancing, the systems and the structure, specifically your system, with that fact that the markets are still responding to human interaction and human decisions? How does that, how does that correlate with each other, I guess?
Yeah, so AI and algos freaks me the hell out. It's
Yeah.
it's it has the good and the bads. I tried building um a model that will help me, not replace me, but will help me um improve my performances, better execution, in and out of trades. It's very to build the right system. It's very expensive.
Mhm.
So thinking out of the box, I build it on my
Mm,
own. Not not in the same level, of
sure.
course, but I tested out. I did the back testing. It works pretty good. I've been working on this since June, I
Okay.
think. Pretty good. I believe eventually everything is gonna be AI. Sorry to
Yeah,
say
I
that.
I I believe you're right.
And yeah, the computer will do the trades for us. And I don't know. It's dangerous.
And then it's gonna be only AI trading with AI with, it's gonna be something else, right?
Yeah, where are we going with this? What are we gonna do if the computer and robots and cars and everything's gonna be everything for us? What are we gonna do? Just spend money, burn money?
Spend the money that AI makes for us. That's
Yep, yep, absolutely.
So, yeah, I guess keeping it going, you've been doing this a while, right? So what's the strangest signal or pattern that you've seen that's turned out to be like a very interesting or real early warning that maybe you caught that the rest of the market hadn't responded to in the right way, in your time trading?
Mm. Um, I don't think there is such a thing, especially with volatility, because as I said, it can spike at moment's
Mm,
notice. Um, of course, you can. you can feel, or you know, if something happening, right? For example, yesterday, right, we had the Fed meeting about the interest rates. So you can see a little bit. Um, the markets didn't do much. The VIX went up a little bit. So people, you can feel that something is happening, but nothing major happened. It's funny, and I'll go back to 2020 because everybody knew that there is something going on in Asia. They knew it in November, they knew it in December, they knew
It
it
was,
January and
and videos were
February,
being
and
released.
nothing
Videos were
happened.
being released of people just falling
Yeah,
over. Yeah, it was weird.
yeah. But that said, nothing happened with the markets. The markets continue to
Yeah,
go up.
yeah,
And I said to myself, what is going
yeah,
on here? There is something big, and the VIX went down, markets went up. Um, so even though with all my charts, indicators, everything that I watch, there is no magic tool that's what I tried to create with
yeah.
AI, to have that magic tool, and none
Not yet.
yet.
Maybe
Maybe,
the next, the
maybe in the
next
future.
round, maybe 6.0 or something. It's the way it's
Maybe,
improving is remarkable on what it's going to do. But I think it's only a matter of time at the rate that they're throwing billions and billions of dollars into it in the equipment and all that. So I agree with you there.
yeah, yeah. It goes to places that we live in the
Yeah,
future. Um, the near future, few months, a year ahead, we will see things in a completely different
oh yeah,
magnitude.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you there. So we both live in California, Southern California, and just earlier this year we had a big round of local, devastating fires. You're not trading, I guess, catastrophe bonds, especially on a local level. But do events like that do they shift sentiment or capital flows in ways the public doesn't notice?
Not in this event. I know it was big, it was
Yeah.
devastating, but not in that
Hmm.
level. Money moved, shift. There was a lot of noise behind the scenes and in front, during COVID, during the financial crisis. That's when you really saw money moving, but not here. You could see it probably inside those insurance
Sure.
companies and all
Yeah.
those, but
Something
no,
like that wouldn't
no.
move the needle. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it it was huge, but it was too small for the
Right.
markets.
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of our audience is in the multifamily and real estate space. Is there anything that maybe you could tell them about how what you're working on with volatility, interacts with debt markets or big macro shifts or, pricing? Specifically, I mean, the Fed did decrease rates. They said kind of where they're headed the end of the year and
Yeah.
next year. So I guess that all
Right.
interacts with each other in a certain way.
Yeah, but again, as I said before, the VIX is not completely uncorrelated to the markets, but trading the VIX, I don't care where the markets will head because it just measures the spikes in the VIX. So, um, to your question, no. Real estate, each sector, it's individual. I'm a little bit on the side of those.
Yeah, I guess barring something along the lines of like a massive mortgage meltdown, like in 2009, something like that, right? Where, it was catastrophe for a while. 2008, 2009. That was about a year after I entered the business. So, and there, there's a lot of panic in all the markets at that time. I wasn't tracking the VIX, but you were obviously trading on it. Was that a year? Was that something that you were expecting, or how did your system go into place on that one?
No, so 2008, I
Oh,
wasn't
you
trading
weren't
the
in it. Yeah.
VIX.
Okay, got it.
No, I started, like,
Really getting into it.
a little bit
Yeah.
testing
Uh-huh.
2010, but then 2012 is when I officially actually went into the
Sure.
markets. Um, I did watch the charts,
Yeah.
of course, of the VIX and the S&P back in 2008 and 9.
And I bet you wish you
Yeah,
were in it at that point.
I, if I had the knowledge I have
Yeah.
today,
No, it would have been nice, right?
yes, yes,
Yeah, a
yeah,
lot of
yeah. Well, we had something
Mhm.
similar. I think it was actually probably similar. I don't think bigger. Maybe it was bigger just because we had more money in the
Mhm.
markets in 2020, but something to compare. Yeah, COVID was,
Worldwide, panic, everybody's talking
yeah,
about it type of thing. Yeah.
yep, yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yep.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Well, my last question is, what would you say is something, that you're keeping an eye on right now? That maybe something that either people are thinking too high on, or maybe they're too pessimistic about.
Yeah. Well, I always keep, up to date with the news and
Yeah.
everything. I'm always
Yeah.
alert. I don't sleep. Uh,
That's good. If you sleep, then I'm not investing my money.
exactly. Well, money never sleeps,
Money
right?
doesn't sleep. Exactly. Yeah.
Money doesn't sleep. Um, I think most investors, uh, I don't think they realize how much is still ahead with tariffs. I see the markets continue going up and up and up. It's like we are in
Yeah.
euphoria of it. Everything is
Yeah.
perfect, but it's not. Tariffs are still
Yeah.
out there. Um, Cost of labor, moving factories from Asia to the US, um, all those things gonna cost
Mhm.
billions.
Mhm.
Yeah, we will increase the economy here in the
Yeah.
US and the labor market and
Mhm.
all that, but somebody will need to pay for that. And same as we were so happy during COVID that the government just pour money
Yeah.
on us. And I said it then, and I'm gonna say it again. We're still paying, and we will pay for that for a very long time. That's why we have those interest rates
Yeah.
so
No,
high.
I think the Fed's trying to
Um,
work out some big mess ultimately that they need to unwind with all that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and there is no
No.
magic stick. The magic stick was in COVID, right? For 2 3 months, they just pour money
Free
into the
money.
economy
Yeah.
and free money, and we will pay
Yeah.
for that for 10
Yeah.
15 years, and it's going to be the same, I think. Again, I'm not an
Mhm.
economist.
Mhm.
um, I think that we will pay for that for a very very long time,
Mm.
unfortunately. All those taxes and everything, it's we'll pay for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can pull through it on the other side. Great. And the country's been chugging along this long, and I hope it continues. There's ups and downs,
Yeah.
obviously.
No,
Yeah.
I believe in
Yeah.
America. America is strong. We have very good economy, great companies innovating. Yeah, we have a lot of
Yeah.
money here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And we're
yeah,
very resilient. We've seen our share of terrible times, from the Great Depression to the Great Recession and everything in between, the inflation of the late 70s, early 80s. And we've managed to get through it. So, but yeah, it seems like it's there's always something ahead that we don't know about. And what you get paid for, and what your investors get a return on, is to be able to see a little bit better than the next guy what's coming around the corner, right? Yeah.
hmm yep,
Awesome.
yeah,
Well, Lior, it's been an
absolutely.
absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on my real estate podcast. But this is a little bit of a shifting gears. But can you say, how can, if somebody wants to learn more or reach out to you and talk with you, what's the best way to get a hold of you these days?
Well, I'm on
Okay.
LinkedIn under Lior Moscovich. You can share if you want my
Sure. Yeah, we'll
email
have it. We'll have it put
and
up
LinkedIn
underneath you
profile.
at this point as well. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And yeah, I'm always almost always available for a call. We'll be happy to chat more, educate people. Um, I don't know. I'm planning on hosting events
I'm
soon.
looking forward to
Um,
it.
you are on my
Yes.
list, especially that we live in
Yeah,
like
we're
in the
pretty
same
close by.
neighborhood.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so feel free to share my information, and I'll be more than happy to chat with whoever wants to get some more information about something that a little bit different than real estate or
absolutely.
any
Yeah,
other investment.
diversification is key, and this sounds like a great way to
Mhm.
do that. So, thank you so much again for
Right.
coming by. All right.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Don. Take care.
I want to thank everybody for listening to this episode of The Deal Room. Huge thanks to Lior for coming on and sharing his story. If you enjoyed the conversation, make sure to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. I'm Don Favia. See you next time. Thanks.